Well, good morning. I'm reading from the book of Genesis this morning. I'm reading about Joseph. The Bible says in Genesis 39, verse 1, "And Joseph was brought down to Egypt, and Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh, captain of the guard, an Egyptian, bought him of the hands of the Ishmaelites, which had brought him down thither. And the Lord was with Joseph, and he was a prosperous man, and he was in the house of his master, the Egyptian. And his master saw that the Lord was with him, and that the Lord made all that he did to prosper in his hand. And Joseph found grace in his sight, and he served him, and he made him an overseer over his house. And all that he had he put into his hand. And it came to pass from the time that he had made him overseer in his house, and over all that he had, that the Lord blessed the Egyptian's house for Joseph's sake. And the blessing of the Lord was upon all that he had in the house and in the field." You know, when we read the story of Joseph, we realize just how poorly treated he was, envied and hated by his brothers. They plotted to kill him, and then they decided it'd be better off just to sell him, and so they sell him into slavery, and he lands in Potiphar's house. And there's several things about this story that are really important. One of them is the fact that it says there in verse 2, the Lord was with Joseph. Through all of his suffering, through all of his situation, the Bible constantly reminds us that the Lord is with Joseph as these things are happening. And so God is sovereign in our suffering. God has a plan, and it's much bigger than Joseph, much bigger than his family. It is a huge plan, and Joseph plays a key role in it. But the thing that I want to focus on that the Lord really struck me with this morning is the fact that Potiphar's house prospered because of Joseph. Joseph was a good hand, and it didn't matter where he was, he made a good hand. You know, what he could have done is he could have thrown him a little fit, he could have had him a little hunger strike, he could have decided that he was going to rebel against Potiphar, he was going to try to escape, he was going to maybe even destroy something of Potiphar's house. He could have been deceptive with Potiphar, he could have stolen from him. But that is not the case. He was just as diligent with Potiphar's household, being the overseer of it, as he would have been with his own daddy's. And even once he gets betrayed by Potiphar's wife and he winds up in jail, the Bible says in verse 21, "But the Lord was with Joseph and showed him mercy and gave him favor in the sight of the keeper of the prison. And the keeper of the prison committed to Joseph's hand all the prisoners that were in the prison. And whatsoever they did there, he was the doer of it. The keeper of the prison looked not to anything that was under his hand, because the Lord was with him, and that which he did, the Lord made it to prosper." Joseph is a good hand everywhere he goes, and he takes care of the business that's entrusted to him. And in each of these situations, in prison and in Potiphar's house, he started out by being faithful in a few things, and he wound up getting more and more and more responsibilities. And as followers of Jesus, this is exactly the way that we're called to live our lives. We take care of the small things, and we begin to see bigger and bigger and bigger responsibilities come to us. This is how you make a good hand. It doesn't matter what kind of job you're doing. And in chapter 41 and verse 38, Pharaoh realizes the difference in Joseph's life. And he says, "And Pharaoh said unto his servants, Can we find such a one as this is, a man in whom the Spirit of God is?" Hey, I want to encourage you this morning. If you're a follower of Jesus, the Spirit of God lives in you. And whatever you do, you are to do it as unto the Lord. Even Joseph, the example that he lays for us with this situation is just fantastic. As a slave, he still takes care of his master's business. As a prisoner, he is taking care of his master's business. He is making a good hand wherever the Lord has him. I want to encourage you, let's be that way. Let's make a good hand. Let's have our employer prosper because they've hired us. God bless you. Have a great day.